January 2021, lockdown again. I don't really mind though, because, you know, all the death. One of the things that you get to know pretty quickly when you spend a lot of time working at home, as I guess we all have over the last year, is what works for you and what doesn't in terms for the tools that you use. And I'd sort of recognised this about 18 months ago, actually. I've been trying to look for something that speeds up my workflow in terms of button presses. So when you're I've lost my pen. Oh, it's in my pocket. Bloody hell. Okay, when you do a lot of editing in Lightroom or Photoshop, you use the same buttons repetitively. You hardly ever use the entire keyboard because the tools all use kind of similar functions. And you realise that quite a lot of the keyboard is a waste of space and a waste of effort. I found in Lightroom particularly that a lot of the buttons I was pressing were on this left side of the keyboard, and then there was some on this right side, hardly ever over here. I seem to use the numbers across the top rather than the side. So I was sort of jumping between these two. And with a graphics tablet, it means you're sort of reaching over the tablet a bit. So it's just a little bit awkward, you know, first world problems. But if you can fix these things, you should try and fix them. So I sort of identified that, you know, my left hand could be doing stuff. It could be a bit more, it could be over here, it could be over to the side. And this is what I've ended up using, the Contour ShuttlePro V2. But I'll backstep a bit. So I realised that I wanted to use something with my left hand, and I thought, I didn't know this existed until a few months ago, but I did know that gaming keypads existed, and I got one. It's called a K50. I can't remember the manufacturer, but it's one of these ones that gets rebadged quite a lot and sold by a number of companies. And there's nothing particularly wrong with it. It feels quite well made, but the user experience for the software isn't very good, and the keys are very, very noisy. And I just didn't get on with it that well, so I never really used it that much. And then so I put that away, and I was using the keyboard a lot over a lot of 2020. And then I stumbled upon a review for this, the ShuttlePro V2 by Contour, and it just seemed to fit the bill. It was it's about 85 quid. So I've mentioned before that what I want to get in the habit of is buying fewer things but making sure that they are the right thing. So I'm happy to spend a bit more if I know that the tool is going to last for a long time, or if it's going to be exactly what I need for the job. Ideally, both of those things together. It's got 9 buttons across the top. It's got these 4 buttons at the bottom. It's got another 2 on the left and right. It's got like a dial. This has got a spring in it, so it jumps back. You can see what it's doing there. It's kind of, I've got it set to scroll in browsers, and then it's got a turning thing here. So it's really built for creatives. I've started with Lightroom and to try and get my process working there, because I realised that kind of, you know, when you're editing hundreds of photos and you're applying the same edit, you often press the same buttons again and again and again. So what I did, I've got I took an illustration of the ShuttlePro V2 and laminated it, and I've kind of I just used programs. So every button is individually customizable for each program that you're using, and I think that's possibly where it's a little bit different to some of the others. You can have this button as something in Lightroom and have it as a completely different function in Photoshop or whatever, including key combinations. So you can effectively set up mini macros on each of the buttons. What I did is I just used Lightroom naturally, and I tried to, every time I found a button that I was using repetitively on the keyboard, I tried to map it over to the ShuttlePro. And the idea was that I used the keyboard less and less and less. And I use this more and more and more, because this is the action I want. I want you know, my right hand to be moving around, or my favoured hand, and I want my left hand not to move at all. That's what I've ended up with. I'll just run through the buttons. You know, these are very personal. You can do whatever you like with yours, but got 4 buttons across the top, and I've got them set as the basic tools. So I've got overlay, turn on and off, adjustment brush, radial filter and spot removal tool. I've got kind of selection tools on the second row, so there's 5 buttons here. I've got label red, label yellow, edit in Photoshop, rate 3 and rate 5. So effectively all that is number 6, number 7, edit in Photoshop, number 3, number 5. They can be as simple as you like. They can be Control plus or Shift plus or Command plus or whatever. These 2 buttons I've got set as switch to library view and switch to develop module. And then I've got copy develop settings here and paste develop settings here. Then I've got create virtual copy and move or spacebar. So with those things I can do nearly all the things that I do habitually in Lightroom. I'm just started in Photoshop and Premiere. This has got a lot of applications for Premiere because of, oh yeah, the scroll wheel. In Lightroom I've got the dial set for the same thing as I've got in the browser, so scroll up and down. And then this is really useful, this in and out, but that's my tool size. So I'm constantly moving up and down brush size in Lightroom, and I was having to sort of reach over to the bracket buttons and reach back. And so kind of, yeah, it's just made a massive difference. As soon as I got it, it sped up my workflow just immediately before I'd really set it up all that well. And so it can only get better really, because once I've got Lightroom fully nailed, I think I've got it, but you know, I might tweak it. You can change it whenever you like. And once I've got Premiere, After Effects, Photoshop, Adobe XD, which I've started using, and kind of anything else, you can apply it to non-creative software. So far, of all the things that, well, I didn't buy that many things in 2020, but this has been by far the best purchase that I've made. And what I'll do is over the next few videos, I'll make sure that I'm doing some edits which feature me using this, and I'll sort of bring it up again a few times, because it really, apart from the Wacom tablet, which has been massive for me, the ShuttlePro, I'll give it its full name, the Contour ShuttlePro V2 for the subtitles, has been a massive benefit to me. And I'm not suggesting that you should get one of these just because I'm saying so, but if you're looking at this sort of what to do with my spare hand thing, make sure you at least give this a look. I'll put an affiliate link in it, but you can get it from anywhere. Yeah, that's it for today. See you soon.